shoot, I'm tripping. I'm sitting here tripping. Anyway, hello viewers. Mornings. Another beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good. Or excellent. What? On a Friday morning. Alright. So, what do I got for you little Steam Deck now? Steam Deck folks? Alright. What do I got for you guys here? What do I got for you guys? Oh, listen to this. Listen, okay. This is from Valve. PSA, public service announcement. You are no longer buying games on Steam. You are buying a license. Okay? You are no longer buying games on Steam. You are buying a license. And of course, we got about 18 politicians in the comments. Says here, this article is from neowin.net. Says here, if you're buying a game on Steam, pay close attention to what the store says on the shopping cart screen. Right below the continue to payment button, there is a small message that explains what you are actually about to buy. From now on, you will not be buying games on Steam. You will be buying a license. A purchase of a digital product grants a license for the product on Steam. It says the message makes it clear that purchasing digital games does not mean owning them. Yeah, let's see here. What game do I got here that I can use? Physical copy versus digital copy. The saga continues. Says here, the update comes after a few controversies about owning digital content purchased from various marketplaces. Ubisoft, for one, end up in hot water after deleting the crew from Everyone library following the server shutdown. Sony also received its fair share of hate for plans to remove access to certain purchased TV shows in the PlayStation Store. The company changed its course after the backlash. Besides getting under everyone's skin, practices like that raises serious concerns about gaming history. And turn the lights here. Says here, controversies like this not only leads to some considering raising a black flag, but also the government stepping in to regulate the market. Next year, a new California law will mandate that digital store communicate the limitations of digital purchase properly and explicitly state that buying is not owning. Says here, with the latest update, Steam might be playing safe ahead of the new regulation, which will impose fines and accusations of false advertising on companies failing to abide. Also, worth noting is that the update message is not exclusive to California. Remember? It says it is present in other states and countries as well. While the problem of spending money on what you do not own is not going anywhere, at least Steam is now making things a bit clearer for gamers. And that is it. Remember I told you when they passed the law on this that it's going to start in California, and just like COVID, it's going to spread out. Yeah, that's what's happening right now. So, physical copy versus digital copy. The saga continues, okay? Buying is not owning, huh? Well, if you still got your classic consoles with your games, be glad you got them, okay? Alright. Let's see here. What do we got? We got 18 comments. Let's see what these debaters are talking about here. Got 18 comments. Buying is not owning, huh? Man. Okay. Let's see. Yakumo said this. My first question is, how can they retroactively change the terms all previous sale took place under? Question mark. It's a new rule. You got to get used to it. Then Ivo said this: the terms aren't changing. You never actually own your games on Steam. According to the EULA, the only thing that's changing is the way that sales is being presented to you. And then Reister said this: if anybody actually read the license agreement of any game they bought, and then he says in parentheses, not the store license agreement, but the game itself, close parentheses, the agreements have already stated this for decades. This doesn't seem new to me. Alright. And then Jeezy said this: it's worth it to note that claims in those agreements just haven't all been legally tested. So while they may say certain things and claim certain things, it doesn't mean they can write anything they want in there and it becomes legal. Then Ivo said this: the only place to actually buy and own your games is like GOG. Yeah, DRM free. And then let's see, Adrenaline said this: not in the U.S. You have only ever owned a license, regardless of storefront, unless the license entitles you to the source code too. And then let me see. Ryan said this: I picked up Cyberpunk and Grim Dawn on GOG. They give you the full offline installer. It's great. Yeah, GOG is gonna benefit from this a lot. Then George B said this: pretty much no DRM and you have full access to the game files. The rest are just selling you a license. This is why I am cool with subs like Game Pass. I am not looking to own most of the game I play, and very few of them do I actually feel like playing over after I'm done. Yeah, and Game Pass is benefiting from this too. Yeah, it's a Game Pass world and we're living in it. And Adrenaline said this: they are all selling you a license. Emoji. And then Dusto said this: even on GOG, you are buying a perpetual revocable license. The difference is you get the offline installer, which you can copy and use as much as you want, but the license still applies to them. They are for you and you only. You legally can't share them, even with the rest of your family. Giving someone else the installer is technically piracy. In reality, nobody treats it that way. Not that I say GOG is crap. I don't see any better way they could implement this. And then Tomo said this: you own nothing and you'll be happy. Yeah, you own nothing in this system, man. Not even the house you pay for. Not even the house you buy, man. You gotta pay your property tax. Anyway, and then Guilfoyle said this: fake news. You never own from Steam. And then let's see, who's this? Blue Screen Junkie said this: the title is obvious clickbait. The news itself accurately reports that they only add a message to make the current situation clearer. And then Defiantly said this: my goodness, what does this whole landscape look like in 20 years? Will we be subscribing to games? And then let's see, and then just George said this: laws need change to grant the buyer ownership of the software and allow for transfer of accounts to an heir after death. No reason they can't do this. I think you should also be allowed to trade games amongst your friends on Steam, but that might be a little too obvious. I mean, too ambitious of me. Then he says, I get software programming is a highly skilled profession, but it's really aggravating from a consumer perspective that the creator wants to assert ownership forever, and it's just on loan to the buyer. Imagine if the contractor that built your deck asserted perpetual ownership of its design, building materials, and barred you from replacing planks and altering its looks. The whole situation is nuts. And then let's see. Organimus said this. He says, "How does one obtaining ownership of another artwork? This isn't a painting that you buy and own. This is art that a company developed with all ownership, right? Still vested in them. They grant you a license to use and enjoy their art, not to own their art." That sounds like nonsense what he just said. But anyway, and then Eternal Tempest, he said, when you purchased the old school physical games, you had to you had rights to fit to the physical copy you own, including the ability to resell it without any restriction from the publisher. It never transferred ownership of the art, etc. This would just be extending the ability to transferring and removing your ownership of the license you purchased to another person. And let's see, Organimus said this: as far as I have it, even old games, when you accept the EULA while installing from DVD or even CD, still grants a license and never ownership. Same has been going with Windows and Office for what, 20, 30 years. And then it says, me too, live. None of this is new, and the easiest solution is not live in a country that only pays lip service to consumer rights. EULA don't mean squat to anyone in the EU if they go against statutory rights. Well, look like they just updated this. You know, Valve just made updated this to make it more clear. You know, like, okay, when you buy a game now, you're buying a license. Digital games. Physical versus digital, the saga continues. Even when you buy the physical games, you got to buy the DLCs and expansion to complete the entire game. So the saga continue with this, physical versus digital. So if you own your classic consoles, if you own a classic console, you got a good library of those games. Be glad you did, some digital games are good to keep, and others aren't. There's only so many games you can play. So having a digital copy has its advantages and disadvantages. So, and this is where Game Pass comes in. All those digital storefronts that sell games. So yeah. The saga continues, so they just updated, and after what Ubisoft did with The Crew, it's going to be interesting. Like, okay, let's say you got an Xbox 360, and let's say you got a PS3, and let's say you got a copy of Destiny. Let's say you got a copy of Destiny. I just use Destiny for once. Let's say Microsoft and Sony decide to shut down the servers for the PS3 and 360. Can you play those live service game offline once those services are shut down? Let's say you got Destiny. What's a good one? The Crew. You already seen what happened with that. Any other live service game that you got that requires an online play. The question now becomes: can you play that? Can you play that game offline? Once they decide to shut down the entire servers for those systems, once if, let's say Bungie say, okay, we're not going to support PS3 and 360 anymore, and we're going to shut the servers down. Now the question becomes: can you play that? Can you play Destiny, the first Destiny on the PS3, with all the DLCs and expansion? Can you play it off? Can you play it offline? That's gonna be a problem. The same could go for let's say Anthem. What if can you play Anthem offline? By yourself. If you don't have an internet connection. If, let's say, EA decide to pull the plug. Just saying. So all of that comes into play now. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the game, like they said in the comments, what the game industry looks like in 10, 20, 30 years from now. So yeah. But the saga continues. You buy a digital game off the storefront. You don't actually you don't own it, huh? Yeah. This is why I like PlayStation too, because when you buy digital games off Sony store, you can play you can play them offline. Yeah. So yeah, part of the industry, folks. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy though. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still Star Wars, Star Trek fan, Dark Side. I'm gone. Peace.